What's up, y'all? What's good? Welcome to the What Up Doe Show. It's your boy Dame D, and we are back again. Um, just want to tap in real quick and just say, good afternoon. Today is Friday. Today is National Friday. But once everybody check in, I'll start my conversation and start my talks. Let me make sure everyone can hear me. Just want to make sure I can be heard. Just want to make sure I can be heard. Okay, I can be heard. What up, though? I'm gonna wait. Okay, I got a few people in. If you're not a subscriber to the channel, make sure that you hit that like, subscribe, and make sure that you also share the content. I'm just gonna be talking about today's talk. I'm just tapping in for a little bit. You know, um, just seeing what everybody got going on. It's National Friday. So make sure that you get out there and take advantage of the deals that they're going to be having everywhere. At mostly all the restaurants. When you make a purchase, you'll be able to get a free thing, a free fry. It's National Friday, so make sure that you take advantage of those deals that they're going to be have going on today. And today, later on today, around 9 o'clock, probably on Zoom, we're going to be discussing um, this Donald Trump, the big beautiful bill, the big beautiful bill. So we're going to be talking about that tonight. And how it's going to affect most of us, and how the deductions, what type of deductions, what these deduction means, and what it means going forward. Because this is going to put a lot of people in different tax brackets. So we're going to be talking about that tonight. And then I want to give a shout out to my homeboy Real Talk with Big Dave. We I was out down there last night chopping it up with him. And I want to apologize to my homegirl LaShawn and her homegirl. We supposed to actually did a show last night talking about the big beautiful bill. But we're actually going to do that tonight. We're going to chop it up and do it tonight. So I just want to come in and chop it up real quick and see who was all up, see what you guys got going on, see what's going on throughout the city. How's everybody Friday going? It's Freestyle Friday, so we definitely gonna be chopping it up. Hopefully, we can get East Skeezy back in the mix with us. He's been MIA, missing in action for a little bit, but his work schedule has changed. So has mine. Which I understand, but we definitely got to get East Skeezy back in the mix with us. I've been missing him. But like I said, I want to give a shout out to Real Talk with Big Dave. Make sure that you guys go over there and check him out, subscribe to his channel. He's putting out real good content, when he's able to, you know what I mean? So, but real good guy, real good dude, with a lot to talk about. So make sure that you go over there to his channel and hit that subscribe button. Check out all the content he's put out thus far. Yep, and why? Let's talk a little bit about the flood. I have not spoke about. I did not speak about that yesterday, so I don't know what the Hopefully the death tolls has not risen. Hopefully, the bad weather that they were expecting to come in has not made it in, and it won't come in. I want to give my condolences out to the people and the families who lost loved ones, and for the people that's missing. Hopefully, they'll be able to find more people alive than not alive. So hopefully the Lord will bless that area and just bless that area with good weather, warm weather, so some of the water can start subsiding, so they can actually start cleaning up. Because right now they're only in rescue and just trying to find people at this point, at this state. Because there's just too much water, that's flooding, that's coming in for them to do anything. So they're not even in cleanup mode yet. They're only in rescue and trying to find people. So like I said, anyone who's interested in and trying to help the victims of that flood, make sure that you get into in contact with reputable people, before you donate your money or your time, because you have people that's always looking to scam on people who's trying to do good. So watch out for the scammers and people trying to take your money. But I want to wish a happy Friday to everybody out there. Like I said, it's National French Friday, Friday. So most of the restaurants in your, in your neighborhood, out there, like the Burger King, McDonald's, and things like that, they're offering free fries today. So take advantage of that. You know what I mean? It's always good to get something free when you can. Let me know what you guys got going on today. What's cracking in the city? It's Friday. Waiting on a few people to chime in. Come on in. I see I got one person watching. What up, dope? Hopefully you're a subscriber to the channel. If not, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It is 1 o'clock Eastern time. So what do you guys think about this big beautiful bill that your president Donald Trump has put into effect? We're going to be discussing that and talking about that tonight. And it's just going to be a freestyle Friday. So we're going to have a live panel, of people, and we're going to have a few topics that we're going to be discussing and talking about. So hopefully I'll be able to get a few people involved in the conversation, because it's going to be a great conversation. Because like I said, this big beautiful bill, it can be beautiful in some ways not. Yep. So like I said, hopefully everybody is having a great Friday. It's Friday. Let's get up, get this money, take care of business. What's going on in the city tonight? Just trying to see what everybody got going on, tapping in, see who's all up. Yep. So like I said, tonight we're going to be discussing the big beautiful bill, talking about things like that. What's going on, y'all? What's cracking in the city tonight? It's Friday. It's National Friday too. So take advantage of all um, the deals that they're going to be having at these restaurants today. I think with any purchase you get a free fry. So it's National Friday. But yeah, later on tonight we're going to be discussing this big beautiful bill. So I invite each and every one of you guys to come over and join us in the discussion. It's going to be a good talk. We're going to talk about the benefits that it may or may not have for you in this big beautiful bill. Because some things may be beautiful and some things may not. It's going to benefit people and in some good ways, and it may not benefit you in different ways. So it'll be good in some ways it won't be. But some of the things we're going to discuss that tonight. So if you want to be part of tonight's discussion, leave your email in the comments down below, and once we go live, I'll be able to send you a link, and you'll be able to come on in. But if you're not a subscriber to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. So what's going on out there today? It's Friday. Hopefully everybody's having a good afternoon. It's 1 o'clock where I'm at Eastern time. And how's have anybody been keeping up with the flood? What is the death toll up to? Because last time I checked, I believe it was over 104. So if you've been watching that and you know that, put it in the comment. Let me know what's been going on out there in Texas. And like I said, I want to give my condolences to the families and to the people who lost lives, and for the people that's missing. Hopefully they'll be able to find more people alive than not alive. So that's first and foremost. Yep. So, but yeah, like I said, it's freestyle. We're gonna be doing our freestyle Friday tonight. Just gonna be chopping it up, just talking about a few things. We have a few topics that we're gonna be talking about. Right now, I'm just checking in, just chopping it up with you guys right now, just seeing what's going on. But feel free to comment in the comment section. Let me know what's going on. Let me know where you're watching from. Where you watching from? See, I got a few people in here watching. Let me know. Put it in the comment section. Where you at? Where you from? But we had a great conversation last night. Good talks with real talk with Big Dave. We were discussing that Tyler Perry situation. Where his accusations. So let me know what you guys think about that. Do you think the accusations that was brought upon Tyler Perry will stick, or do you think they were true? Because it was a lot said in those accusations. And Tyler Perry has brought a lot of things to the black community. He's giving a lot of jobs out. He's feeding a lot of people. So he's detrimental. If he's lost to the black community, you know what I mean? Because he is Hollywood to the black, actors that he employed. So that was a good conversation. We talked about that. So go check that out. It's over on Real Talk with Big Dave, WIT. Real Talk with Big Dave. So go make sure that you go over there, check his channel out, subscribe to his channel. It was an excellent conversation. Like I said, we talked about, the allegations with Tyler Perry. Do you think those allegations was true? Yeah. And like I said, tonight we're going to be discussing that big, beautiful bill. Tell me how you think. Do you think it's going to benefit you in a good way, or in a bad way? So give me your thoughts and your opinion on that. I definitely want each and every one of you guys to check in, tap in with us tonight. It's going to be a good conversation, good talk. We're going to have multiple conversations. But that's definitely going to be one of the conversations that we're going to be talking about. Because I don't all the way understand the bill totally. I've been listening and trying to do my research on it. What I found thus far about it. Some of the tax breaks, look pretty somewhat different, but I still have to, read a little bit more further, get a little bit more knowledge on, all of this. It's definitely some good things about it, and there's definitely some things that I do not understand, about it that I need to get a little bit more knowledge on it. You know what I mean? Before I speak on it. So, I'm going to try to get a little bit more knowledge on that before we talk about it tonight. I've been doing a little research and trying to get a little bit of understanding, because it's a lot. I believe it's like I forget how many pages, but it's a lot of pages about that. So you have to, read over a lot of stuff, break a lot of stuff down, because it's a lot of, it's a lot said in these bills that in these tax breaks. Like I said, it's going to be beneficial to some people, and then to some people, it's not going to be beneficial. For those who's going to be making, I believe, like over 80,000, you may not get as much of a tax break. As a person who's making under that, so it's just different things that we're going to be discussing and talking about. How this big beautiful bill, may or may not help you. But from the most part, it's going to be beneficial to you know, um, people who's making less than, I believe, than $80,000. To a lot of the restaurant workers who make tips. So it'll be beneficial to them too. And also be beneficial to people who's getting ready to buy like new cars and things like that. And you also have like child tax credits. That increased by a few hundred. So it'll benefit most people. Most of the working class people, I should say. So but yeah, those are some of the things that we're going to be talking about tonight. So I definitely want each and every one of you to come over there. If you know a lot about this big beautiful building, if you can break it down, come on over there. Like I said, I'm going to put the link and code in on this on the page before we actually go live. But like I said, make sure that you leave your email in the comment section if you want to join us. I'll just send you a link to the show. But like I said, at the end of the day, it's It's a little bit confusing on some of the things that I don't know about. So, I've been trying to do my research on those things, but it'll be beneficial in some ways. In some ways, it won't be beneficial. You know what I mean? And then a lot of this stuff it will only carry until 2028, until the end of Trump's term, unless they extend a lot of this stuff. So, a lot of this stuff will only be for the years that he'll be in office, unless they extend it. But I can't see, especially if it's a Democrat that's getting ready to come into office or win the office, I can't see them extending what Donald Trump has done, because a lot of the things that the Democrat has done the last, 4 years, he has come into office and, redone all that, so yeah, you have to take advantage of most of these tax breaks that they're doing. So like I said, it'll benefit some people, in a good way, and then in some areas it won't. It just all depends on, you know, what tax bracket you land in. But like I said, today is National Friday, like literally Friday. So most restaurants are going to be giving out, free fries for people that come in and purchase anything at any of these restaurants. Most of your local restaurants are be participating in things like that. So it's Friday. What's going on? Where you guys checking in from? Comment and let me know where, what part of the country you at. Chop it up with me. I'm not in here by myself, so let me know where you chiming in from. You got a few people watching, so let me know where you coming from. And let me know what you think about today's comment. Okay, what up, though? And Pete, you from Detroit? Okay, that's what's up. What up, though? Yep. So tell me what you think about this big, beautiful bill that we're going to be discussing tonight. What do you know about that? And if you do know a little bit about that and you want to discuss it, leave your email in the chat, and I'll definitely be able to send you a link, and you'll be able to come in and discuss this topic with us tonight. Because it's a lot. It's a lot of, it's over 8,000 pages, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. You said, and Pete said more AI. What do you mean? I'm not understanding. You talking about the bill? Yep. So, but yeah, like I said, we're going to be discussing that, and it's going to be Freestyle Friday. So we're going to have multiple conversations, or we're going to be talking about multiple things. Okay. And Pete said that's in the bill. More AI surveillance. Oh wow. So yeah. See, I would definitely love for you to come on and give us some of the knowledge that we don't know. So more AI surveillance, like far as them watching us, the people, or just, is that what you mean? I'm gonna write that down now. More AI surveillance, because I did not hear that. Okay, so more cameras watching us. I mean, because they already got cameras everywhere watching us. So if they're going to be adding more cameras, what does that mean? Is some shit getting ready to go on that they have to add more cameras to be able to watch us? Because there's cameras everywhere you go. You can't do pretty much nothing without a camera being on you. So yeah, and Preach said yes. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. So, that got to let you know that for the government to be wanting to put out more cameras to watch the citizens, um, it got to be some shit that's getting ready to hit the fan, or something getting ready to go on. You know what I mean? For them to want to put more cameras out everywhere. If anything, I'm not. They need to be taking some of these goddamn cameras away, because it's prying on some of. I'm not going to say, on our privacy, but it's somewhat invading a lot of privacy. I should say. Because when you need the cameras to work for you or something like that, they don't, but it works for them when they're watching you and things like that, so, but yeah, and Preach, I definitely would love you to come on tonight's show and have this conversation and talk with us, and give us some of the knowledge that you know about that. So I'm definitely going to look that up, and see why they feel like they have to put more cameras out Um, and I can understand this in certain places may need more cameras, like certain places like Detroit, Chicago, um, Philadelphia, where you've been having all these killings since the 4th of July. So, it may not be bad in certain situations, you know what I mean? Certain areas, because like I said, there's cameras everywhere already, so I can't I I just don't understand why they feel like they need to put more cameras out, invade our privacy more. And that's all that's going on is just slowly but surely our rights and our privacy um is being taken away from us, like right in front of our eyes, our faces, I should say. So yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. But like I said, most of these things that's in this big beautiful bill are only going to be until Trump is in office. A lot of this stuff, unless they extend these, will not. So you have to take advantage of a lot of these things now. Because there's things with here, let me look that up. There's things with seniors, they're going to get a tax boost. You have things with car loans where you have interest deduction on those, but this is stipulations. It has to be a car that's it has to be an American car. It can't be a foreign car or anything like that. It has to be an American made car. And I think that's a good thing. Especially for a person like me. Because I'm a UAW worker. So for people here in the United States to go out and buy foreign cars, it hurts the American economy. So I'm definitely in agreement with that. It helps people like you and me. When people buy American, it definitely helps out the American economy and the people, because when we go out and buy things from other countries, it's definitely taken away from the money that could be spent and used here for our people. So, those are one of the things that those are one of the things that I do agree with, with like the tax credit with the cars. If you're going to buy American made, give them some type of tax credit. So that's a good thing. So it's a few things that may benefit us that may not benefit us. And preach, are you a subscriber to the channel? If not, please hit that subscribe button. Help your boy out. We are trying to reach a goal over here. We're close to reaching a lot of our goals. We've been reaching goals. So I'm building this thing from the floor up. And I've also said I did a show the other day. I've been looking for someone who knows who's good with editing and who's good with a lot of the editing software, because I have I'm working with the Sony Vegas editing software, and I have not had time to sit down and learn it. So I'm trying to look for someone that I can bring in and help me out with that. Someone who's interested in also in doing a podcast. So I'm opening my doors up for someone who's interested in doing that. And maybe we can work together. I can show you what you need to I can show you what I know, and then you can help me out with what I need. So if anybody's out there in the Detroit, Toledo, surrounding areas, get with your boy. Yeah. So what's going on in the city today, Ann? What you getting into? It looked like it's a nice day outside today. It's still a little hot, but it's a beautiful day outside. It's National Friday, so like I said, take advantage of getting some free fries. Most of the surrounding restaurants in the city, like your local Burger King, McDonald's, and things like that, they're going to be giving away free fries. So the kids love fries, so make sure that you get out there, and take advantage of the free fries that they're going to be giving away today. Yep. So yeah, I definitely want you guys to chime in and check in with us tonight. We're definitely Aaron Priest said resting was up late and learning more about this big beautiful bill. Yeah, you know what? Me too. I actually woke up this morning and started doing a little bit more research on it. because I actually was supposed to do a show on that last night, and I want to apologize to my peoples. We did not do the show last night. We got a little bit tied up, but we're definitely going to do the show tonight. We're going to be discussing that. But yeah, it's a lot to this big beautiful bill, and at the end of the day, like I said, it's going to benefit us in some ways. In some ways, it's not. So you have to take advantage of the benefits while you can, because they'll only be here until 2028, I believe, unless they're extended. But yeah, and make sure that you definitely get with me. Leave me your email, because I definitely want to bring you in, and talk about some of the things that you've learned and that you know about this big beautiful bill. Yep. So what part of Detroit, east side or west side? I'm from the west side. Born on the east but raised on the west. Graduated from Mumford High School. Want to give a shout out to all my Mumford Mustangs. I see that we're getting ready to have some type of 90s uh I'm not going to say dance or nothing, but like a little 90s get together. So I definitely hope to see everybody in the building. Definitely hope I'm able to attend. We had a great time at the last event that we had, which was our class reunion. So it's always a good time to see everybody and preach. Okay, check your okay, check your show out tonight. Okay, for sure. I definitely want you to come in. So definitely leave me your email so I can bring you in on the show. I definitely want you to come in. I definitely want you to be I definitely want to talk about this AI surveillance, you know what I mean? Because it's we already got a billion cameras on everything that that's watching us on everything that we do. So definitely want to get a little bit more insight on that. Yep. So, what do you guys know about this flood that's been going on out in Texas? Tell me, what do you think about that? Is it still flooding out there? Because I did not check yesterday. I've been doing I've been on it the last few days, but yesterday I did not check on it. And last I checked, the death toll was over like 107, I believe. So hopefully, and then last I checked, the Weather Channel said that bad weather was getting ready to be coming that way. So I just want to give my thoughts and my prayers out to the people in Texas, and the people who lost their lives, and the families who's lost loved ones, and the people who's missing. Hopefully they're able to, like get out there and rescue. Because right now, they're still in like rescue mode. It'll be a while before a lot of that water stops subsiding, before they can start cleaning up. So, that's definitely a horrible situation out there. I want to give my condolences again to the people who lost their lives and to the family who lost loved ones. Yeah. It's beautiful living out there by that water, and to shit like that happen. That's one thing I always say. I'm not gonna say always wanted to live by the water, but it's beautiful, the homes that you see out there by the lakes and the oceans and things like that. It's always beautiful, and even like with the fires that happen in California, all that shit is beautiful looking until these natural disasters happens, like with the fires and with these floods and stuff like that. You know what I mean? People go out, and I'm not saying that nothing's wrong with want to live by the water or wanting to live on a mountain, but you go out and you invest your hard earned money, and then I hope I hope a lot of these people had flood insurance and life insurances, and you guys to like living, that close to the water. I don't even think, yeah, I mean, it's a lot in life insurance just to even have those. I mean, um home insurance, and flood insurance. It's a lot, especially when you're living that close to the water. You know what I mean? So hopefully those people were prepared with flood insurance and home insurance and things like that, and also life insurance. Because a lot of people lost their lives. It's been a lot of talk about these floods too. And that's something that we're going to talk about tonight. I might even bring that in the conversation. A lot of people think that the floodgates were opened up for these floods to happen. A lot of people were saying that that was just too much water for just to be coming through that fast of a time. You know what I mean? Like like they opened up the floodgates. You know what I mean? So I definitely want to talk a little bit about that, get a little bit more insight on what on about that. Hopefully it's nothing to it. Hopefully it was just flooding from the rain. You know what I mean? But we know as we know, certain things don't happen before, and it wasn't natural. It was man-made things that were made for certain things to happen. So you just got to look at and and I talked about this the other day. You have to look at the landscape of where these floods hit. You got to look at it and be like, okay, did the government want this land? Were they trying to buy this land from these people? So you gotta go back some months or some weeks before this flood actually hit and ask yourself those questions. Where there's some disputes, about certain land. Did the government want certain land and certain people did not want to sell or give up these lands? So, you just got to go back and do your research on certain things, and then you'll find some type of paper trail or some type of trail of what, or you'll get some type of idea of what may be going on. Because a lot of people, like I said they do not believe that this just coming from rain and just flooding. Even though that area is known for flooding and things like that, that it's been flooding since the beginning of time. But I believe the residents of that area said they have never seen, the floods come in like that. Where you see houses and shit floating down down the road. That's crazy. So, you know, um, yeah, it's just ridiculous. So, those are just conversations and things that we may talk about tonight. Yeah. So what's going on out there, Detroit? What y'all up to? Just checking in and chiming in, just trying to see what's going on with everybody. It's Friday. Hopefully everybody is out there being safe. But you have a safe night. I want everybody to be cool. You know, um, been a lot going on throughout the country. We're gonna talk about we're definitely gonna talk about the police state and what's been going on throughout the country. You know, with these officers, murdering innocent people. I definitely want to talk about that also too tonight. But what's going on out through the city? I know it's Friday nights. My people normally have the Friday night fights. I want to give a shout out to CJ. He normally and my cousin Marcel Lee. They normally have the Friday night fights going on out there on Woodward. So if you don't have anything going on tonight, make sure that you get here. And I'm gonna make sure. Let me look them up. I want to give you guys the name. It's Detroit Fight Club. So look those guys up. They're always hosting. The underground fights is always great fights, good entertainment, no fighting, no bullshit, security. It's always a good time. And if you in the area and you don't have nothing to do, make sure that you check out the Royalty Vibe Lounge. It's always a good time over there. He always have the fights for people to come in and see. And it's just a good time. And if you have a party or a birthday party or anything like that, and you want to book it, get with your boy Marcel Lee. It's a good time over there. I had a party over there for myself about a year ago. So it's on 6 Mile between I believe Evergreen and like Greenfield. It's called the Royalty Vibe Lounge. It's a nice, cool place. Laid back. So definitely get with him. Yep. So yeah, let me know what you guys got going on throughout the city. What's going on? I just gave you a few events that y'all can hit. The Detroit Fight Club, they always got the fights going on every Friday. I believe it's somewhere off of Woodward. I don't know the exact address, but you can look up Detroit Fight Club. There's always the underground fights going on, and it's a pretty good setup. It's a pretty good event. It's very entertaining. You'll definitely be able to have a good time and have fun. Um, and that's about it. So that's it. I'm gonna go on ahead and check out. I just want to come in and tap in and see what you guys had going on for the day. But like I said, for everybody who wants to join in and check out the show with us tonight, make sure that you leave your email, and I definitely will send you a link to the show and bring everybody who wants to come in because it's going to be a good time, good conversation. So I'm not going to hold you guys up any longer. I just want to chime in and check in and see what was going on. But definitely take advantage of your National Fry Day today. It's National Friday. So, take the kids out, purchase some stuff, and you'll get some free fries for the kids. So it's another one. It's your boy Damn D, and I am checking out. Peace.